How often do you reflect on your team's work processes and wish you could adapt more swiftly to change without losing momentum? Well, rise and shine, leaders. This is Glenn Guyton, keynote speaker and workplace trainer. It's time for our executive coffee break. I've got my beverage in hand, and I hope you have yours too. They say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your workplace culture and your beverage. I'm drinking very bad coffee this morning. Leadership matters, so you might as well get good at it. Well, today we're diving deeper into the world of Agile, right? Agile. And I want to talk about iterative development, a game changer in the way we approach work and team dynamics. Iterative development breaks down work into small, manageable units known as iterations or sprints, typically spanning a few weeks. And this methodology isn't just a buzzword, but again, it's one of the tools that we can use for continuous improvement, adaptability, and innovation. And all of these things are part of the culture that you are creating, breaking things down into bite-sized pieces so people can understand it, so that they can see it, that you can celebrate those wins. A very solid strategy when you are trying to transform a workplace. Again, some of the key components that we always want to include when we think about this innovative type of leadership. We want continuous feedback, a continuous feedback loop. At the end of each iteration, the team comes together to review progress, discuss what worked and didn't work, and adjust their approach accordingly. This ensures learning, growth, are integrated into your process. Continuous feedback loop. Where else have you heard that? And so we have these methodologies which pull from a lot of best practices, and we wrap them together. And that's why we have this iterative development. So a continuous feedback loop, that's important. Next, adaptability. The beauty of iterative development lies in its flexibility. Teams can pivot strategies without significant setbacks, embracing changes rather than fearing them. What else should we call that? Experimentation? Yes, it's just a form of experimentation. We are breaking these things down. You've probably heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time, right? You can't just eat the whole elephant. You don't just gobble up the elephant. I've never eaten an elephant. I've eaten some things, some weird things, but never elephant. But just one bite at a time, whatever it is. If you want to choke it down, it's one bite at a time. You can't just eat a whole pizza in one bite. Your mouth is not that big. It's not that big. One bite at a time. Next, collaboration and transparency. It encourages open communication and collective problem solving, bringing that team together, making it easier to tackle challenges as a united front. Again, you're bringing in your diverse team members, bringing in diverse skills, various skill sets, bringing them all together to help you solve the problem. So are there any major pitfalls we should think about when we're thinking about iterative development? Well, it's not always smooth sailing. One major pitfall of iterative development is its potential for scope creep. And hey, if you are a project management professional, you hate scope creep. I hate me some scope creep. I don't hate many things in this world, but scope creep is one of the things that I hate. When those projects continue to grow and get bigger and bigger, and with these small iterations, you have more opportunity for scope creep. So without clear goals and a disciplined project manager or project management tool, the scope of the project can expand uncontrollably, leading to delays and a strain on your resources. So just be mindful of that. Anytime you get more people involved, more hands involved, you get these big ideas. Sometimes you have to have someone to say no, right? It's good because you may get the right idea, but you can get a whole bunch of too much right. I work for a nonprofit organization, and people always want to add stuff to our plate. What we did. It was a nonprofit. We did good work. We did good community work, and people would always say, "Hey, we should do this because it's a great idea." And I always would say, "Yeah, it is a great idea." Now you tell me what other great idea, what other good thing aren't we going to do? Because our resources are finite. We only can do so many things with the size of our team and with our financial resources. So even though you have a great, wonderful, fantastic, life-changing idea, we can't do everything. And so scope creep is a thing, right? It's a thing. And sometimes you have to scale it back. So that's one pitfall of it, of this collaboration, this collaborative practice. Sometimes we get too many good ideas. So that's okay. It's easier to cast those away and tell people no than it is to try to stir up people and get good ideas. So some best practices as we think about this concept. And I want to make a little bit of a distinction between iterative development and the Agile methodology. You know, Agile, on the other hand, is a broader philosophy that encompasses various methodologies such as Scrum and others. It prioritizes flexibility, customer satisfaction, and rapid delivery of high quality software. Again, this came from the software. If you watch my other video, it came from this software technical industry. Agile promotes adaptive planning, evolutionary development, early delivery, and continual improvement, and it encourages flexible responses to change. Whereas going back to iterative development, focus on breaking down the project into smaller, manageable cycles, each delivering a portion of the overall functionality, I should say. I don't know where I got that word from. Functionality. So key characteristics include a strong emphasis on repetition and refinement through multiple iterations, allowing for incremental improvements based on feedback. And again, the challenge with that is scope creep. So just a little bit difference between iterative development and agile methodology. But again, so some things to think about. Approach to change. While both methodologies embrace change, Agile places a more significant emphasis on adapting quickly to evolving customer needs. Iterative development, maybe not so much. Project scope and deliverables. Iterative development may have a predefined scope with flexibility in the execution, whereas Agile methodologies are more open-ended with deliverables evolving through collaboration with stakeholders. Again, scope creep is always going to be the challenge. Projects get too big. Even though Agile is quick, it can grow exponentially. Team collaboration is a big part of both of these. Feedback loops are a big part of both of these. It just depends on the timing of the feedback loop between Agile and iterative development. So best practices for iterative and Agile. Clear communication, always. Any of these, anytime that we're trying to transform the culture, we're trying to bring in something new, change the project, we want clear communication. Open channels of communication between teams, stakeholders is always great. It's always good. Next, number 2, embrace flexibility. Be prepared and adapt project plans based on feedback and changing requirements. That's the beauty of both of these processes working together and the timing of these processes. So we can be flexible. The iterative gives you some of the constraints that you need, whereas the Agile will allow you to continue to work and be flexible in your processes. Next, set realistic expectations for this work and what you want to do. Understand the scope and limitations of your project and your resources to manage stakeholders' expectations effectively. Now, that's a big one, right? Managing expectations. That's a big part of any job that we do. You've heard the expression, hopefully you've heard this, under promise and over perform. And that's kind of how you need to think about these things. Set realistic expectations. You want creativity. You want people to think outside of the box, but you want to set realistic expectations about what's possible based on your other constraints. So what are your constraints? And this is a hard one. You have a process that leads to flexibility. You want people to dream, but there's a time and place for everything. Setting expectations is so important, even as we think about navigating workplace culture, navigating the culture of your stakeholders. Managing expectations is really crucial. And how you look as a supervisor. You want to be honest. You want to give yourself some goals that are maybe hard to reach, but not impossible to reach. And again, what's within the scope of your project? Again, number 4, we want to focus on customer value, prioritize. If we're thinking about software, it would be features, but I want you to think of these processes outside of the realm of the tech industry. I want you to think about it. If you're a nonprofit leader, if you are working in a different type of industry, like what's the value that you bring through the services that you offer? If you're a nonprofit leader, what services do you offer? If you were in software, you would say, what are the features of this program? What can it do? What are the bells and whistles of this tool, this thing, this software, this program? But if you are in the service industry, what's the value that you bring? What do you do? How do you serve your customers and clients better? And think about those through each step of your process, each iteration of your process. And continuous learning. We want to continue to, that's number 5, continue to learn from our stakeholders, from our team members, from everyone involved. Have that feedback loop. It's important. So as we get ready to close here, just want to challenge you, and hopefully this sparks some ideas for you and your team, especially if I'm not really talking to techie people. That's not what I do. I want to help you manage and use these techniques in other areas, other workplace. So if you're a tech person, I may not necessarily be talking to you. Maybe this will spark some things for you. But if you're a nonprofit leader, if you're working in a service type industry, I want you to think about adapting some of these principles to your workforce, to your process development. But here's a challenge. Assess your current project management approach and consider how incorporating elements of both iterative and agile methodologies could enhance your team's performance and your outcomes. We want to transform the workplace. We want better outcomes. Experiment with applying these practices in your next project and observe the impact on efficiency, team dynamics, and customer satisfaction. The big one being customer satisfaction. Start breaking up the things that you want to change into chunks, into bite-sized chunks, iterations, and have a cycle that you go through for each iteration, and then reset, start over, and go through your next iteration. Again, this is really want to challenge you if you are in like a nonprofit service delivery type of organization, if you're leading those. So thank you all so much for your time. Let's not forget the strength and perseverance that it takes to lead with empathy and inclusivity. Better leaders get better results. So to every one of you leading the charge for a more supportive and engaging workplace, I leave you with this. Stay bold, stay inspired, and remember that your actions today shape the culture of tomorrow. I'm Glenn Guyton. You have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.